Hello, everyone. Welcome to today, our drawing session. We're doing a 10-minute drawing. I've been doing this practice for a couple of weeks now. And I would like to acknowledge that today is Invasion Day, a day of mourning, actually in what's now often known as Australia. So-called Australia. In 1938, there was the first day of mourning, and this day was, a day of invasion and beginning of genocide, and it's not a date to celebrate. And in 1994, the government of Australia decided, hey, let's make it a public holiday, call it Australia Day, and celebrate how great this country is. And they're every year leading up to this day, and there's a lot going on, a lot of discussion about just changing the date. It would be a simple thing to change the date, have a public holiday, have some sense of togetherness and a day of connection, but just not today. So I thought today, I don't know a lot about David Uniapon, but he was and is on the $50 note, which is questionable in itself. I wonder about the currency. Like, just why should anyone be depicted on currency? I like that animals are on the coins, but wondering about a person. But it is definitely a recognition of the first peoples of the country. And so I thought today, as is such a public face, and since that money early in my childhood, I think was introduced, and I remember these new notes, and more significant than having the Queen on all the money, I would say. Like, what right does the Queen or the King these days have to Australia, apart from the force that has been used? So the idea to this month is sketching people who've done inspiring, important things, and I just think David's face being on the $50 note is an important point to recognition of the first peoples of the country. So I thought we could draw David today, and this is a lovely image. We're going to do a 10-minute portrait sketch, and thank you for being here, everyone. So it's been 5 minutes starting now, and then 5 minutes again. So the past week I have been sketching, listening, and learning from the In the Circle of Life documentary from Science and Non-Duality. I've been talking about it in other streams, and it has been incredible, so important, and really, really moving to be in touch with the people that have been featured in the film and the topics addressed, and the idea of all that has passed and all that will be, that whatever we're doing now, we are contributing to what the future will hold for future generations, for our descendants, and the beings that we live together with on this incredible planet. And it's been a really amazing time of learning, and so appreciative of everyone who's been able to speak, the people that I've been drawing from. And growing up in I grew up in three different nations, which I didn't realize until I was living in Germany, that I was born in the Bangla country, and then moved to Karna country, and then to Paramank in what's now known as South Australia. And it's it's just been so important to just realize what has happened, kind of what is still happening and what can happen. And there's so much heaviness. And with today being a day of mourning, also recognizing that there's so much that has been learnt and so much that has been, so much connection that still exists, and that everyone, there's just been some really amazing teachings in this conversation series that, everyone, we are all of this planet, this earth. We are part of nature, and being aware of that and being able to tune in to what's around us and what's going on, and to realize that we, being part of nature, that we just got to be present with the land and what's going on, and so much of the kind of chaos and misunderstanding. I think a lot of heavy stuff that's going on is kind of rooted in a misapprehension of our of like being something other than nature, or being above nature, and finding our way back to, or reaffirming, realizing our place in the balance of things, and all of us together, and this, like, it's an honor that we get to share our time here, and everything that's come before and everything that will be is like, we can contribute just a bit of awareness and compassion and care. Then that's what we got to do. And it's not slowing down the intensity of the chaos, but having the opportunity to listen in on these really important conversations, which are just so much love and clarity and hope, and so important. So thank you so much to everyone who's been involved. Hi, Anne-Marie, Lewis, Maya, and Jay. A bit overexposed here. Here we go. And I just saw a post on Instagram this morning. Joe Williams shared it to his stories about how I'm not sure I even was aware that this Australia Day only started in 1994. So I was 11. And because I remember thinking, well, what is it anyway? Like, it's a public holiday, but it's not something that really, I don't know. I didn't even really have much awareness of it. Like, why is it a public holiday? What's going on? And then to learn that it had actually been since 1938 was the first kind of demonstration about this day of mourning, and what a terrible decision to then take that day, which has been a day of loss and the instigation of so much injustice, and to say, let's just I guess it's an attempt to rewrite history, make that decision to be like, let's just on that day be like, how great was the invasion? Look what a great country this has become, and there's no pride in genocide. That was the first 5 minutes. Let's keep going with another 5 minutes. I also, part of the reason I chose David, there's also a big important thing, the people that I've been drawing from the series of conversations. I had their permission, got in touch with them all, and it's really important to have permission. The likeness of of these people, like to think that so much has been taken by force to. It's an interesting thing as a portrait sketcher and artist. It's marks on paper, but when we're taking the time and the focus to be with someone, to have permission is an important thing. And I wanted to kind of sketch someone kind of rooted in history. I don't directly have David's permission, but that his face has been so public and it's become, it's kind of, I was wondering about that as I chose this face to draw. And it's I guess, a really interesting thing to be in such a public thing. And, I have a lot of questions about, I don't know, the money and what it means. What is the statement to have something on a particular person and all of the different people that are on these currencies? Like, it's often seems to be that the kind of important historical people seem to have this honor of being eternalized on currency, and then to actually go beyond that and not internalized, like who knows how long it will be, but to learn about these people as well. And I just had a little look. I remember I'd read in the past a little bit about him, but just this is just very superficial. Just a couple of words from Wikipedia. That he was a preacher, inventor, and author, a Narrandjeri man, and his contribution to Australian society helped to break many stereotypes of Aboriginal people. And he's featured on the $50 note. The son of preacher and writer James Uniapon. And I guess breaking stereotypes, that's a pretty big thing. But where do those stereotypes even come from? Like, who? So many. It poses so many questions, and it's important to ask so many questions, reflect upon these things. Where do our assumed ideas come from? And any kind of generalization founded in a deep misunderstanding, and of course a colonial, it was a very problematic mindset that many of the settlers and many people who still live in Australia kind of brought to their perception and interaction. And something really beautiful, I think I mentioned it, and I thought was really moving and important, a big takeaway from Joe Williams' conversation that I listened to was that we all have responsibility, and this is part of growing up, that as we learn to be part of society and part of the world we inhabit, that we have a responsibility. We have responsibility to care for each other, to care for our surroundings, to rather than rights, which is something that I've thought about a lot, especially with all of the violation of human rights, the blatant disregard by all these countries who claim to, have some sense of rules and decency, and then there's just like all of these assumed rights that we have are just kind of violated. And what he was saying, that having rights is like a passive thing, but having responsibility is something that we step up to, that we step into our role. And I think that's something for all of us, like wherever we see injustice and an opportunity to for the betterment of anyone's experience and situation, that we have a responsibility to do what we can And that always varies for everyone in all their different life scenarios and their experience and understanding. But it's really interesting to frame things that way, that rather than just having rights, that we have responsibilities. And that is it's an important and great thing, that we in whatever situation we are, to be able to contribute lovingly to the world around us. And there's so much I'm listening to and learning at the moment. Like, being well resourced is an important way. Lama Rod Owens in Love and Rage, which is a great book, and New Saints. And I just saw an Instagram reel this morning from Lama Rod Owens, who was saying about being self-care in a way of resourcing, which I think is what we're doing as we draw and we focus and we connect, and we have this wonderful opportunity just to be in the zone and to be busy and have this clarity and focus as we draw. Hi, Fiasco Frames, welcome. Like, I was thinking about what is it about drawing, and this idea that it's self-care, just to have this moment to be focused, to be calm. And what Lama Rod Owens was saying, that self-care is a way of resourcing ourselves so that we can kind of reset, get focused, relax, take care of ourselves. And there are so many different ways, so that we're able to show up and step into the responsibility that we have to take care and be there for each other. And that if we're coming from a place of being resourced, and I see more and more that this is what drawing is about. Any creative practice, singing, drawing, dancing, moving, sleeping enough, drinking clean water, like all these ways that we can care for ourselves and each other. 10 minutes is up, by the way. But these are ways that we resource ourselves so that we're able to act lovingly, with compassion, to do what we need to do. And, that's in whatever way that we do it. For me, it's being with my kids and being able to breathe through the conflicts and help them find ways to also be compassionate and caring with each other, and establish a sense of belonging and care and fairness. So those are my thoughts for today. Thank you for being here, everyone. A little bit more than 10 minutes with David Uniapon. And however you bring, if you're in so-called Australia or anywhere in the world, it's important to be able to reflect upon these things. And however you bring this day of connection and mourning and action, that's also great to see. So many people are getting out and just making it really clear that it's not a day of celebration. So those are my thoughts. Thank you to everyone who's contributing in that way, to standing up, stepping into responsibility, because that is another way that so many people are just doing their bit and contributing towards the compassionate, bountiful, loving world that we can all share together. Thanks, everyone. If you've made it to the end of this, you can put your drawing hand emoji in the chat. And I'm just about to go have a conversation with someone, a mentorship call, which I'm really looking forward to. It's really been beautiful sharing inspiration and focus with my mentorees the past couple of weeks. I encourage you all to rest, take care of each other, reflect upon your responsibilities, and just take time to do what is good for you and your surroundings, to take care. Thank you to everyone showing up, doing whatever they can, however they can, and let's draw again tomorrow. I'll see you then.